Nairobi.
And as we continue to analyze the aftermath of the deadly Sabasaba Day protests, we're still here with Martha Karua, who is the party leader of the People's Liberation Party. Martha, maybe as we look forward, maybe it's to try and understand where we are now. Why is there so much anger in the country, do you think, especially amongst the youth?
Bad governance. When the economy continues to slide, when services are almost grinding to a halt, and when citizens complain or show displeasure, the government responds with a heavy hand, with a breakdown in rule of law orchestrated by the government of the day, introducing militias, because I will not call them goons. It is state-backed militias, Haiti-like, state-like backed militias, to assault, to loot, to ban, and then charge the very youth who are holding peaceful protests with the banning and looting, which has been done by goons under cover of police, because we've seen them working hand in hand. That only increases the anger. Instead of listening to the citizens, is presiding over matters of state with high-handedness and with complete disregard of the rights of the people. I think this regime is tone deaf. The people cannot be contained through unlawful means. It is by only listening and responding to their complaints. And I keep on saying that al-Bashir's Sudan was a police state. He had a very strong military and security apparatus. He still fell. In Egypt, there was also a military and police state. And we still remember Tahrir Square, and it fell. We remember in China, Tiananmen Square happened. Even Adolf Hitler fell. No dictator has ever conquered the will of the people. It is a time of when, not if. So the message to this regime is very clear. Listen to the will of the people to stem bloodshed and destruction. And do not think that bringing armed militias and blaming it on the people, you're going to hoodwink anyone. And to our security forces, to anybody in authority, remember this is your country too. You will account personally. Any illegal orders, remember, you will account personally, and very soon.
The young people are saying, you know, Ruto must go. That's what they chant when they're out on the street, even online. What do you say, Martha?
Indeed, he must go if he cannot govern in accordance with the law. The people have the power to tell him to go. Let him read Article 1. There is no offense, no law broken by people chanting or demanding that he should go. They're demanding not just for his resignation, it's him and his entire complement, the entire government. And if they continue being tone deaf, it will happen sooner than later.
He says, you know, how do I go?
By resigning, or you'll be pushed out eventually by the people, by the will of the people. The acts that are happening today actually make it untenable for him to remain in power. And I keep on saying, being elected is not a title deed, which you wave in our faces. You have a term, but that term can be withdrawn. He also knows he employs people in his home and in businesses. You can terminate them even where you have a contract. You can be terminated. And he should consider that he was actually fired last year during the Gen Z protests. So if you are on borrowed time, you try to correct your mistakes. He's adding insult to injury. It is a time, my call is for all Kenyans of goodwill. This is our country. And I have heard William Ruto's utterance that if there is no Kenya for Ruto, there will be no Kenya. So this is a deliberate attempt to cause civil strife in this country. We must resist, and all Kenyans of goodwill must come together to save this country, not in a dialogue with somebody deliberately breaking the law, with a group of ruling elite who are hell-bent on persecuting citizens. But all Kenyans of goodwill must come together to put in place measures that will stop this rogue government in its tracks.
One of the things that the president says is if you want him out, you meet him at the ballot in 2027 as one of the ways perhaps to make that determination on whether he continues as president or not. But we're not even ready with IEBC, Ms. Karua, and we know where that matter is, and without litigating it, because that matter is now in court. But, you know, what are your reflections on where we go with that? Because even with the electoral process, we are not ready with that right now. What are your thoughts on where we are with
Let me say
reconstituting
this.
that?
If he wants us to meet him on the ballot, change your ways, Dr. Ruto, you and your illegitimate rogue regime. If not, Kenyans have the power to terminate your contract earlier. As for IEBC, Dr. William Ruto deliberately and illegally pushed out commissioners whose tenure would still have been valid, because it is not right that all commissioners go at the same time and we are left without IEBC. That's why there was a broken down hiring. Having pushed them out illegally, he has delayed the process. If you remember, the NADCO report, which I didn't agree with, they took 1 year discussing. They have taken more than a year to pass the legislation in Parliament. And now the commissioners are yet to be appointed properly, because he appointed them against court orders. So it is deliberate. I am looking at the actions of Dr. William Ruto, and I'm seeing a man ready not to go to elections. So first, he denies the country an IEBC. Secondly, you can see everything he's doing is a man who thinks he has bought a title deed to State House. Why would he even build a church there? Who tells him that the next person who comes there will be interested? And this nonsense of lying to us that there was a Mabati church, I used to visit that State House. Unless if he is saying him and Uhuru constructed a Mabati church, and I doubt, he is the first person to ever construct a church in State House. This is a person treating the seat of government, and in particular State House, as personal property. This is not a person preparing to go. Kenyans, tighten your belts. We are off for a very rough ride. And I'll repeat, Kenyans of goodwill must stand together to find solutions. And this is not by dialoguing with a person who is shedding blood daily. That's not a person to dialogue with.
All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we want to know what the way out looks like in your view, and on a number of other issues, including police reforms, because that's under the spotlight right now with the conduct of police that we are seeing in the country during protests. So we'll talk a lot more about that, where we go from here, what is the way out, and you've said dialogue isn't the way. So what is the way? And we do a lot of talking in this country, Martha. We talk quite a bit, and it costs us quite a few millions to talk. Is that the way forward? Do we talk ourselves out of this crisis? We're back in a moment with Ms. Martha Karua, who's the PLP party leader, taking a look at the aftermath of the deadly Saba Saba Day protest. But first, we'll have the day's business news for you, and then we will carry on with our conversation right here on The Explainer when we return.